Tuesday.
The fewer people that are involved, the safer I will feel.
They welcomed an outsider into their circle.
She knows you now.
But this new ally is harboring a secret which cannot be seen. A secret she'll do anything to protect.
There's something in here!
An all-new Buffy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited. I am one of your hosts. I am Jeremy.
I'm your other host, James.
And this week, we are going to be scuba diving into Season 5, Episode 6, Family.
Yes, that is what we will be doing, scuba diving into it.
Yep.
So how are you this week, Jeremy?
Oh, I'm all right. Feel a little queasy, little stomachy, but yeah.
Are you?
I think I'm.
Are you pregnant?
I might be. It's possible. Possible.
Who's the father?
Me. I am also the father.
Wow!
Yes.
Wow!
And when I have
That's impressive.
When I have the child will also be me. And so it falls right in line with Christianity.
It does. It
know?
does. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Dear Heavenly Father, it's me, you. I would like. Sorry. There goes the other 6 fans. So, what's up with you? How are you doing?
I'm all right. Can't complain. Same old. You know, everything's going well.
All right.
Still waiting for emails and comments about seeing my nipples. So
yeah, they're never gonna come.
I mean, they might. You don't know.
Yeah, never gonna come. So
listen, you know, a little peek behind the veil here. While this may be our 6th episode, we haven't even dropped our first yet for season 5. So it's entirely possible that we could still get requests for my nipples.
No, it's not going to happen. So well, if there's nothing to go over, nothing to bring up, I guess you could go ahead and air fry us some dates and deets.
Oh, can I? Can I do that?
You may.
Why don't I fuck myself while I'm at it? How about that?
Okay. Now make a good podcast.
No one wants to see my nipples, then no one wants to see me fucking myself, Jeremy.
Well, just don't show your nipples while you're doing it. Simple.
So we open up in Willow and Tara's dorm room, and they're
Do we want to have some dates and deets?
Oh yeah, I guess maybe we do.
Wow.
Nah, fuck them dates and deets. Fuck those dates and deets.
Wow.
Fuck them. I'm tired of this shit. You know what? I'm done. I'm out of here.
Oh, James just quit again, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he's back.
Yes, as previously stating, we are scuba diving into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 6, Episode 6, our 84th episode.
Correct. That's not correct. It's Season 5, Episode 6.
Whatever. You know what? If you're just going to keep correcting me.
What the fuck, dude? Like, just peek behind the curtain. We just recorded an episode earlier and we took a little break. Like, did you do like massive amounts of drugs while you were gone? I said, cook us up some dates and deets, and you're like, so yeah, we go into Willow and Tara, and then you're like, this is Season 6, Episode 49, and you just give us a different name, and it's like, what the fuck is
happening? To be fair, I didn't get to the name of the episode before you so rudely interrupted me.
Yeah, very rude of me to want us to let the listeners know what they're listening.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so yes, we will be scuba diving into Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 5, Episode 6. our 84th episode of the series overall, Family, both written and directed by Joss Whedon. It was originally broadcast on November 7th, 2000 on the now defunct WB network. Our regular cast, as always, includes...
Can I break in just 1 second? That brings me to another point. Last week, you told us that as a behind-the-scenes thing for that episode, that it had a scene cut out because it had aired on September 11th.
In the UK, after September 11th in the UK, yes.
Okay, I was going to say because it actually originally aired in the year 2000.
Yeah, but after it aired on or around 9/11 in 2001, they edited that scene out.
Okay, well that was incredibly stupid, but okay.
Right, like how everyone of course we're gonna always remember. No one will stop fucking talking about it, even all these years later.
Yeah, let's talk about all the murders that took. Yeah, let's always remember that.
Right. Always remember. Well, how can I fucking forget? You talk about it every single fucking year.
Yeah. That's it. We're definitely canceled now.
So canceled. Anyway, our regular cast, as always, includes Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy, Nicholas Brendan as Xander, Allison Hannigan as Willow, Mark Blucas as Riley, Emma Caulfield as Anya, put that sign down, Michelle Trachtenberg as Dawn, James Marsters as Spike, and Anthony Stewart Head as Giles. Our guest stars this week include Mercedes McNabb as Harmony, Claire Kramer as Glory, Charlie Weber as Ben, Amy Adams as Beth, Steve Rankin as Mr. McClay, Amber Benson as Tara, and Megan Gray as Sandy, and Kevin Rankin as Donnie.
Actual father-son duo here playing father-son.
Right. Our Nielsen rating for this episode was 3.9. Went down a little bit. Yeah. Ranking it 90th out of the 137 primetime shows airing across network television that week, and number 3 out of the 17 primetime shows airing on the CW or the WB that week. My synopsis reads: the betrayal of a deadly secret looms as Tara's family arrives unexpectedly in Sunnydale to celebrate her birthday.
Mine reads: when relatives arrive in Sunnydale to celebrate her birthday, Tara uses a magic spell on her friends to keep them from learning her secret. Meanwhile, it's never good when there's a meanwhile in a synopsis, but meanwhile, Glory unleashes a horde of demons to hunt down Buffy. And by the way, in the show, she still hasn't been named, and yet this is the second time her name has been used in literature.
Oh, well.
Okay.
I mean, I'm presuming whoever writes the synopsis in every synopsises figures people have already watched these episodes, so they already know the character's name.
They've already watched ahead of live broadcast television and learned.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Synopsises give spoilers like that all the time, though, before episodes even air, because like the people writing the synopsises have, inside information and shit,
and they have no humanity about them to not spoil shit.
Whatever, spoilers, no big deal.
They're bad people. Period.
No, whatever. That's your opinion. No one really cares about spoilers. It's no big deal.
Okay. Remember you said that.
We open up in Willow and Tara's dorm room, and Willow's curled up in bed, and Tara's sitting up reading, and Willow asks Tara to tell her a story, and she starts telling her the story of how they adopted their new kitten, Miss Kitty Fantastico, which seems kind of dumb to me because shouldn't Willow already know that fucking story?
You would think. But Tara's just not a very creative person and cannot come up with a good story.
Okay, I can buy that. Oh, you know what else? I forgot to mention this last week when we covered No Place Like Home, but we were both apparently very wrong about Anya having money.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We did forget to talk about that. Yeah.
Because if you remember the week before that episode, we had come up with plausible headcanon as to why nobody ever seems to work. And then the very next week, the writers of the show threw our headcanon in the toilet by having Anya mention that she's running out of money and needed a job. And then she got a job at the Magic Box.
And no one thought to, like, I would have berated her had she said that to me. I'd have been like, fucking bitch, you're what? Like 1,500 years old? and you didn't think about maybe making some long-term investments. Like,
right.
So fuck you then. Go fuck yourself. And I would kick her out of the group, frankly.
Just kick her to the curb.
Yep.
So Tara tells Willow this little story about how they got Miss Kitty Fantastico. And Willow then says she's sleepy, and Tara asks if they can keep a light on because she wanted to read some spells. And Willow is basically like, oh, you've been reading a lot of spells lately. And Tara says that she's trying to catch up with Willow. And Willow ultimately convinces her to forget about reading and snuggle up in bed with her. And as they're snuggling up, Tara makes a comment about, does Willow think Buffy found out anything tonight? And Willow says, at the factory, I don't know. If there was something, she probably would have called us. And then we cut to the Summers home, and Buffy is filling Giles in on the whole Dawn is not a real person, or at the very least not her real sister, and all the memories are fake, and she's a key, and this thing that beat the living shit out of me is after her, and we have to protect her. And Giles asks if they're going to tell the others, and Buffy says no. Well, first he asks if they're going to tell Dawn, and Buffy says no, and then he asks if they're going to tell everyone else, and Buffy says no. And then we cut to the pile of rubble that collapsed on top of Glory in the previous episode, and she basically explodes out of it, and she is covered in dust in her red dress, and she looks around angry, and she says, okay, now I'm upset. And that is our cold open.
A very long cold open this week, in fact.
It was, yes.
And we should state, if it's not obvious, that obviously the cold open is taking place on the same night as the ending of last episode. So
right.
You utterly failed in mentioning that, so I figured I would.
Well, I figured it was covered when I mentioned the conversation between Willow and Tara, where Tara was like, do you think Buffy found anything? And Willow was like, at the factory. I assumed people would be intelligent enough to...
No, that's what you get for assuming people are intelligent.
To conclude that it was taking place at the same time, or as our previous episode. But I'm sorry, viewers, that Jeremy doesn't think you're smart.
No, I don't. Listen, we're in a second go around with Trump, so obviously there's a lot of fucking morons in this fucking. I'm just saying. Anyway, where'd we leave off at? Oh yeah. So she says she's mad, and then no one cares. Because no one's even there to hear it. So it's like, who's she even talking to? Let's see. So then we cut to Buffy's dorm room, and everyone is pitching in to help move her out of said dorm room, and she is going to move home. She's using the cover story of Joyce, being ill and whatnot, that she needs to move home and help out with it. And it could be somewhat that, but it's also because she now feels like she needs to be like up Dawn's ass 24/7, protecting her. So, and Anya keeps making comments about how they just moved Buffy into the dorm room and now they're having to move her out of the dorm room. And Giles makes a comment about how, or Buffy makes a comment to Giles about how he's not really doing anything to help, even though he just broke fucking Anya's balls about that. Like, he's like, well, this is what we do. We help each other. And he's actually not doing anything. And Buffy mentions that. And then he's like, well, I was just going to be like the elderly, or not elderly, but the elder kind of patriarch role and give orders and point and tell people what to do. And then he points over and tells Xander and fucking Riley that they have each other in headlocks and tells them to stop and yada yada. So, ha ha ha, real funny. Not really.
And again, like this, I want to bring it up because it harkens back to what I mentioned a few episodes ago. I really do like the friendship that they're developing between Xander and Riley.
Well, yeah, I mean, Nikki Brendan and Bupkis have better chemistry, and I'm not like saying this jokingly. They have better chemistry than SMG and Bupkis do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So then all of a sudden the dorm room catches fire, and no. Let's see. Oh wait, yeah. At one point, Dawn, she's like, "Where's Dawn?" And Bupkis is like, "Well, she's just right here." And then she comes in, and Buffy's like, "Oh." I'm like, "Oh, here we go with mega over super protective Buffy." And then Tara tries to make a joke, but it doesn't go over at all. They all look at her because, well, they're all stupid. Let's just be honest, because it's a joke. It's a joke of it's like a smart people joke, and since they're all stupid, they don't get it. So she then feels very out of place and embarrassed, and so Willow's like, "Hey, why don't you just carry some things down to the car?" And I'd be like, if I was Tara, I'd be like, "Wow, okay, slave driver." But so she does, and when she leaves, Willow's like, "So is everybody going to be there tomorrow at the Bronze and tomorrow night?" And they all look at her like she's got turds hanging out of her ears, and she's like, "It's Tara's birthday tomorrow, remember?" And they're all like, "Oh yeah, we know." And fucking Xander's like, "Oh yeah, I've already got something, picked out as a gift for her," and blah blah blah, and then we shall discover that's bullshit. All right, it's a goddamn lie, and it fucking offends me. We cut then to the hospital, and Ben the intern is entering the locker room. Well, there's a little thing out in the hall first where he runs into, I guess, another intern who's bringing in another crazy person who's strapped to the gurney, and he's like, "Man, that's 5 this month. Well, they told me Sunnydale was gonna be wild. Anyway, bye. I'm fucking off." And he does. Then he goes into the locker room and begins changing, and you hear some soft Barry White music kick in. He's like, "Oh yeah." No. But the camera slowly pans away from Ben just as he's about to pull his manhood out. and there's like this creepy fucking demon with like a Gene Simmons tongue sticking out, like walking along like he's heading towards Ben and he's gonna get Ben, and then all of a sudden we see Glory, who grabs it by the neck and she's I think she says, "I've got a job for you" or something like that.
I need a favor.
Or yeah, I need a favor, and then drags him away, and the camera goes back to Ben, and he's now fully nude and masturbating in a public locker room in a hospital. It's really fucking.
That's not accurate.
Oh, that didn't happen?
That's not accurate. No.
Okay, my bad. So, and how do you? Well, we find it out later. We'll do it later. So then we cut to where are we? Is this her like lair or?
Well, first we go back to the magic box.
Yeah, but nobody cares about that. Wait a minute. Did we go back to the magic box?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll let you take over. Go ahead.
So we cut back to the magic box, and Anya is dealing with a customer, and she's overly enthusiastic with the customer, and Giles is basically like, "Cut it out. We don't want to scare people." And she's like, she tells him she's just excited because she feels like she's found her place in the world, and he tells her to organize the shipping orders, and she says, "No, that's boring. I just want to do the money parts." Yeah. At which point, Buffy and Xander come in, and they're talking about the party and how they forgot about it, and Buffy's like, "Huh?"
Real great friends.
And Buffy's like, "Well, it's not really that thrilling of a social event." And, Xander's like, "Well, it's important for Willow, so."
Yeah, does this not come across to you as just very...
Oh, yeah.
Mainly from Buffy's end, it's very, what's the word? Cunty. Very cunty.
Well, I mean, like, we've talked about this before. They've all proven numerous times that they're not actually very good friends.
This is true. But I mean, she's all like, "Well, it's not like this is exactly the most thrilling social event of the year."
Right.
And it's like, oh, yeah. But it'd be fucking different if it was your birthday, and
right.
It's like,
yeah.
Wow. I don't know. It came across very shitty.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is. It's very shitty.
Because even Xander's trying to. He's like, well, but it's Willow. It's important to Willow. So, like, stop being a fucking bitch, Buffy, and let's go celebrate Tara's birthday. You fucking cold-hearted. Fucking bit. I mean, I don't know. That scene got me. Seemed out of place.
Yes and no. I mean, we already know that Buffy in particular is not a good friend. So.
Well, no, I know, but it's like if she had been like, "Oh my god, dude, Xander, I can't fucking believe I just completely forgot about it. Like, thank God Willow fucking said something, so now I don't have to look like a bad friend." But like, that's one thing, but just to be like, "Ugh, I forgot about it," because who the fuck cares? Fuck this stupid fucking shit. Like that's a different level of like bad friend,
Right. I see. Now I agree, but I also disagree because like I feel like it's right in line with the level of bad friend that we've seen from Buffy over the years.
Fair enough.
So Buffy asks Giles if they've had any breakthrough identifying the woman from the factory, and Giles is like, "Well, I've narrowed it down somewhat." And then we get a cut to a table, and there's just a shit ton of books stacked up there, and Buffy's like, "Well, she says you're definition of narrow is pretty wide or something like that. And Giles like, well, you didn't give me a lot to go on. You know, she looks human, and
it's fair. He did. All she said was, "Oh, she was a human
Yeah.
blonde lady."
right.
So Giles was like, "Whoa, quit breaking my balls over here."
Yeah, and he's like, you know, you didn't give me much to go on. You said she looks human, and you know, can you be more specific? Like, what was she like? And Buffy's like, she was like Cordelia, actually.
Which
And I'm
kind of,
like,
yeah,
yeah, I was like, yeah, like
yeah,
Buffy era Cordelia. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. So then Xander comes over and he's like, he's being an ass, and he's like, oh, the answer's right here. We're just too blind to see it, and hits the table, and Giles and Buffy kind of roll their eyes at him, and then Buffy and Xander start talking about what did they get Tara for her birthday, and Xander admits he didn't get her anything, and they both talk about how Tara's nice, but they don't know anything about her, and you know, but she's super nice. And Xander's like, well, I know she likes Willow, but she's already got one of those. And you know, they're like, are there going to be a lot of Wiccans there? You know, Willow's got this whole other thing, and this and that and everything. Basically, just proving further what terrible friends they are.
Yeah, because it's like,
And it's kind of like, it's like during this scene too, you're kind of like, no wonder Tara still feels like a fucking outsider. Like, none of these people know or have cared to learn anything about her other than she's Willow's Wiccan girlfriend.
yeah. And Giles actually says here, I think, in this same scene, exactly.
It's not this scene yet, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, he says later, he's like, in his own nice way, but he basically says, you fucking morons are sitting in a magic shop and she is a witch. What could you possibly get her? You know?
Right.
And I was like, thank you. It's like, you can meet somebody you could spend like half a day around someone if you're even remotely observant as a human being, and be able to probably get them a gift of something that they're into. You know what I mean? And it's like, you've been around this girl now for an entire year, and you just don't have a clue what you could possibly, you know.
Right.
I don't know.
So then Buffy says that she's got a present buying headache, and Tara's birthday is just one too many things for her to worry about. And Xander tells her that she should relax and take a few minutes and do something to work off the tension. At which point we cut to Spike's crypt and Buffy punching Spike in the face. And Buffy and Spike are fighting, and a whole lot of fisticuffs, and he ends up like pushing her into a chair, or he gets pushed into a chair and she lands on top of him and then flips him over away from her and
gives him a hurricane.
And he's like, you want me, Slayer? Come and get me. And Buffy's like, oh, I'm coming right now. At which point we cut to Spike and Harmony in bed.
And he's coming right now.
They both are, yes. And Harmony asks him what he's thinking, and why do women do that?
Thank you.
And this isn't even like a post coitus question. Like if we're just like sitting on the couch, like in silence watching TV, I've had girlfriends in the past be like, what are you thinking about? And no answer ever satisfies them.
Nope. Even the balls out truth, which I've answered that question absolutely fucking nothing. I was watching television and my brain was shut off. Like, nothing.
Exactly. Like 9 times out of 10, my answer has been nothing, because 9 times out of 10, we're actively engaged in something else, like watching TV or a movie, whatever. So that's what I'm thinking about. And one time I got asked, and I answered even more honestly. She was like, what are you thinking? And I said, how many tater tots could I fit in the bathtub? And because that's what I was thinking about. And she didn't like that answer. Like, she thought I was making it up. And I'm like, I'm not. Why would I make this up? Like,
yeah, well, I think women, this is honest truth. I think women give men far too much credit. And they think that I think they think that we are much deeper and smarter than what we really are.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking? Like we're having these real deep, earth-shattering. It's like, no. If we're watching TV or something like that, and like there's a silence and we're not talking, that's because we have men have discovered a way to shut their brain off, but us not lose consciousness.
Right.
And we're not thinking about a goddamn thing other than maybe, I could go for a sandwich, or something just totally superficial.
Right.
So.
Right. When we say we're thinking about nothing, that is the honest truth. Like, if we're watching TV and you ask me what I'm thinking about, there is a almost 100% chance answer that, or 100% chance that the answer is whatever is it on the TV that we're watching is what I'm thinking about.
And even then, sometimes you like snap me out of my stupor. I might be like, fuck, I don't even know what we're watching. I wasn't thinking about shit. Like, my brain was turned off, and I may have been in another, like, I might have had an out of body experience. My shit might have been in another fucking dimension just now. So, but it's even more annoying, like right after, or even like kind of during sex. Like, what are you thinking? What do you think I'm thinking? What do you think I'm thinking? Like, what kind of fucking question is that?
Right. I'm thinking about not ejaculating right now so that you can get off, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm thinking about not being a 2-pump chump, and trying to it's women give us too fucking much credit, dude. Way too much.
Yeah. So yeah, she asked him, "What are you thinking?" And he says, "All about you," which obviously he was thinking about Buffy. So we cut back to the magic shop, and Xander and Buffy are still going on about not knowing what to get Tara for her birthday. And this is where Giles is like, you're in a magic shop and you can't think of what Tara would like. I believe you're both profoundly stupid.
Yes. Like I said, this is when I didn't even know that was going to be said. And I was like, thank you, because that's because in the previous scene, I was like screaming at the screen. I was like, you're in a fucking magic shop. She's a witch. It'd be so fucking easy. It's like,
so Xander says he doesn't really know what kind of things witches like. And then he's like, should I get her a crystal ball? And Giles is like, you better not. That's what I got her.
Yeah. And it's like, he's got to have like 10,000 different items in this place. And I'm sure like any of them, I'm sure a witch could make use of pretty much any of it. So, hey, what about just have a little bit of synapse firing, and maybe say to Giles, hey, Giles, you got any cool, like books with some cool spells or something in them? Why, yes, Xander, I do. Well, fuck me. I figured out what I'm getting her.
At that point, a young dude walks up to them and starts asking about the books. And where do we go from there, Jeremy?
Well, if you want the truth, there's hardcore sex happening behind him. As no, by the way, just the first thing I noticed about this guy was I hated his facial hair. I hate if I'm being honest, I don't like when anyone has facial hair of like his and they wear it instead of cut it, like shave it off. Because it's like a little bit here, like a little bit here.
Oh, patchy.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, it looks like pubic hairs that you've glued in patches to your face. It doesn't look good. It's kind of douchey. But anyway, yeah, he's being real douchey. Honestly, he's like, oh, so are you guys all witches and like, don't put a spell on me, and they're all like,
are there spells in here that can turn people into frogs and stuff?
yeah, and they're all just looking at him, kind of like, are we like? Xander like shoots this look over at I think it's Giles he's supposedly glancing at, but this look of like, do we have to beat this guy? Are we gonna have to beat this guy up and like throw him out?
Also, speaking of Xander, let's take a moment. And I mentioned this in the replacements, and we're seeing it play out now over the episodes since then. We're seeing a more put together Xander the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Like hearkening back to what I said about the replacements, I feel like it was a soft reboot for the Xander character to kind of bring him, more in line with where all the other characters are right now in the show, instead of, still being back in high school like Xander was for the past season.
The more I've thought about that, exactly from what you said, the way you laid it out before, the more I've been like, I think he's right. I think even to go even further, I think maybe the writers like realized, you know what? I think we fucked up here, guys. Like we haven't really developed Xander beyond a 17-year-old jerk off or 18-year-old jerk off. And they were like, fuck, how are we going to do that quickly? And maybe that was their answer. But I think you're right, like 1,000%, because now and from here on, there's sometimes where he seems like the most mature and grown up amongst them, especially I would say in like season 7. Well, even some in season 6, and it's like, oh, okay. And
right.
Yeah, I think they realized maybe that's why they wrote that Xander, specific episode, because they were like, fuck, we got to catch him up like quick.
Right. Right.
So anyway, so yeah, this guy introduces himself as oh no, I'm sorry. He doesn't introduce himself yet. Willow and Tara arrive to the magic box first. Then he's like, there she is, and da 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 da. It's her big brother. And his name is Dudley Douchebag. I'm sorry, Donnie. And he's like, yeah, we got the camper outside. You want to go on down there and see it? And I was like, got the camper outside? Like, what the fuck? Is she from like a... You know what I thought at first, the first time I ever saw this episode? I was like, oh shit, is she from like one of those weird like Mennonite type like communities, and they're like there to like get her back as she escaped or so. I was like, this is gonna go weird. But yeah, he's her big brother, and he reveals that he's come to town with Pops and cousin Beth. I don't even for Tara's birthday. Tara's clearly not, like, she's acting like she's okay, but she's clearly not. she's clearly taken aback to see these people, because at one point she says to Donnie, she starts to say, how did you find me? But she stops, and she's like, how did you get here? Or whatever she says. But yeah, she's clearly not happy with this. But I know this is being silly and a little nitpicky, but dad, brother, and cousin Beth. I was like, wait a minute, is something going on between dad and cousin Beth? Like, is dad banging? Like, why is cousin Beth there? Like, it just seemed. I know. You're thinking, oh God, he's fucking latching onto something again. But it just seems so weird to me. It's like, this is my dad. This is my brother. This is my fourth cousin, twice removed, Beth. I don't even know why she's here. I haven't seen her since we were like 11. But yeah, she's here. Anyway, they're like, well, we're going to have dinner for your birthday and blah, blah, blah. Basically, they don't give her a choice. They're just like, yeah, we're going to have dinner for your birthday. And she's like, okay, well, hopefully it's
I'm sorry. I should have spoke up sooner before you kept going. I feel like the writers wanted there to be a female family member, but didn't want to give Tara a sister for some reason.
Yeah.
So like they were like, well, we'll just give her this female cousin.
Yeah, and I feel like there is a reason to do that, as we will discover.
Right.
But it doesn't pay off, because I don't want to give spoilers away, but it doesn't pay off because the cousin doesn't change her tune or change her opinion when.
Well, I think that's why they wanted a female character as part of the family, specifically for the reason of that character not changing her opinion.
Okay.
Just to kind of show like how deeply that family dynamic is.
And I know go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I know you're going to roll your eyes and be like, oh, God, Jeremy, what the fuck's wrong with you? But it just seems to me like it would have made more sense for this character to be an aunt, or maybe even his mother, like her grandma, something like that. But like this weird, like same-aged cousin Beth, because the first thing I thought was, what is there something going on here in the family? Like, is this like some big incestual family? Like, it's just weird. I don't know. Like, why should this girl that's the same age as Tara be like telling her shit to do and like she knows better? And I don't know. It just seems strange to me. Cousin Beth, Amy Adams, by the way, in case we didn't mention that.
We did. It was in the dates and deets.
Before she was Amy Adams, she was on Buffy. Kind of like Pedro Pascal,
And before she was on Buffy, she was on Smallville.
Yeah, but nobody watched that show. It's stupid.
It was as popular as Buffy before Buffy came around.
I know. I'm breaking your balls because I know you liked it. Okay, so yeah, they're gonna go to dinner. Yada yada. So then we cut to the old Summers abode, or as we call it, the Sunnydale Slut House.
Except we've never called it that.
Well, not only that, but Mom's kind of retired at this point because she's ill. She's got, as we said last week, she's
got the syphilis.
Yeah, she's got the syphilis. Buffy gets home. Apparently Riley had been babysitting Dawn, and I couldn't figure that out because she's left Dawn unattended before, and isn't Mom there? Am I wrong? Isn't Mom there?
You would think she is, but we don't see her.
Okay, that's true. So, okay, fair enough. Anyway, Riley's babysitting Dawn for reasons, and they start talking.
Well, keep in mind, Buffy just found out that Dawn's this key that Glory is looking for. So
fair enough, but it's like, what is fucking Riley gonna do at this point now that he's just completely fucking normal? Like,
Well, yeah.
you know, he's just gonna be a meat shield, I guess. So basically, she's setting Riley up to be a fucking meat shield just in case. You know, maybe Glory will spend a little time murdering him so Dawn can escape. Yeah, cool, works for me. She's like, oh, you know, thank you for doing me this favor, blah blah blah, and then now I owe you a favor, and she's like, and it might involve outfits, and I was like, whoa, you dress up like, never mind. So Dawn comes by and she's like, all right, see you guys later, and Buffy's like, whoa, no, what? Where do you think you're going? And she's like, I forget the girl's name. Do you have it there?
I could probably find it, but I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's not that important. She's going to such and such's house for dinner. And Buffy's like, no, you're not. And she's like, what? And she gives a stupid reason. She's like, oh, you shouldn't be hanging around here. She's bad influence. She's short. And it's like, what? And then
Melinda.
And then Dawn even says, it's literally across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then Buffy's like, well, but we live in the hood and you might get a drive-by. And she's like, well, you done forgot, bitch. I'm the one doing the drive-bys.
Right.
I don't know. It's just, I get the whole why she does this and why the scene exists, but it seems really silly to me. Like, maybe if she was like, I'll see you later. I'm going across town to what's the place called? The cappuccino place.
The espresso pump.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the espresso pump, and then maybe I'll go over to the park or something. Like, I could get then Buffy being like, oh, no, the fuck you're not. Or I'm going with you. But it's literally across the street. Like, Buffy
could
stand
literally
and watch her
go inside the other house. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, okay, this is a little silly. And then Dawn says, oh, I'm so glad that you've moved back into the house. Like, it's just so great. And she turns around and walks away. See, if that had been me, I'd have been, and one of my siblings I'd have been like, fuck you. You ain't mom or dad. You ain't telling me I can't go. They already said I could, so eat shit. And I'd go. And you can ask my sister. That's exactly what I would have done. Riley even says to Buffy, he's like, don't you think you're overreacting a bit there? And because, like, well, Buffy's never been protective of Dawn before, quite frankly, and now she's being like super. So Riley's like, what the hell? And she's like, listen, she's not real. She's this fake thing. It's
I don't think that's an accurate statement that Buffy's never been protective of Dawn before this.
Well, protective to the point. Well, she's my sister and yada. But I mean, like, how she's being now? No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No.
Now she's being way overprotective.
Yeah, I'm not saying she never gave a shit about Dawn and would have like pushed her in front of traffic or anything, but I just mean, like, she'd always treated her like a little sister and her the big sister, and now she's like super mega overlord, and Riley's like, when did that become a thing? You know, right. And of course Buffy doesn't tell, because we have to keep that secret for at least a couple of more episodes until it comes out, and then everybody can get mad about them not being told. Which I don't blame them. Anyway, then fucking Riley gets pretty fucking pissy with her, and I would say not unjustifiably. He's basically like, well, I gotta fucking go, because he can tell that something's up, and Buffy's not telling him, just not giving up the goods, and he's like, yeah, fuck this. I'm tired of being your little fucking lapdog. And he's like, I'm outie. And she's like, whoa, you know, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, listen, if you decide you need something, let me know. I'll come running. And I'm like, see, that's your problem. You're a little, you're pussy whipped. Basically, it's a trust thing. He just feels like she doesn't trust him, and he doesn't like that, which I don't blame him.
Right.
Then let's see. Yeah, then we cut to Tara getting to her dorm room. And her dad, oh God. She opens up her door and walks in her dorm room, and her dad's just fucking standing there in the middle of her dorm, just like checking out all of her shit, and God knows what he's doing. And it's like, what the wow, privacy much, motherfucker? Like, and he's like, well, the door wasn't locked. He said the door wasn't locked, and I knocked, but there was no answer. Okay, so then you fucking stand your happy ass the fuck in the hall, and you wait for your daughter to get there. You fucking, oh, I hate that kind of shit, man. But no, he just went on in, and he's basically berating her for the things she's
Being
got.
a witch.
Yeah, for being a witch and having all this magic stuff around, and how disappointed he is. And he's like, your friends don't even know what you are, and wait till they find out. They're not going to want anything to do with you. And just like what happened with your mother. And he's like, so here's the bottom line, Tara. We're taking you home with us because we know how to handle what's to come, and because you're about to turn 20 and it's going to happen. And so we're taking you home. And I'm like, what the fuck? She's 19, almost 20 years old. I'd be like, the fuck you, get the fuck out of here. But anyway, so he's like, as he's about to leave. Oh, and then he's like, I don't feel much like eating now. So it's like, oh, wow. So you're not even going to feed your child. Okay. You're a great dad. But he says this line that I was like, oh, that's really nice of you. He's like, I'll give you some time, but we have to leave in the morning. And it's like, oh, so you're going to give her like 9 hours to pack every belonging she owns, say goodbye to all of her friends, somehow drop out of school and get some money. But you're a good guy. You're a real good guy. So he fucks off and gets hit by a car when he goes out. He's hit by a car, and it's actually Spike that hits him with the car. He puts it in reverse back and goes over him again. And no, after he leaves, Willow shows up, and she's like, "Hey, can let's do this the demon locator spell? Let's try that again." And Tara's like, "Well, it didn't work last time," and which, remember, she secretly sabotaged that to not work.
Right.
And, Willow's like, well, I think I fucked up the ingredients and blah blah blah. So let's try it again. And Tara's like, oh, but can we do it tomorrow? Because I'm super tired and yada yada. And Willow's kind of prodding her, like, what's up? What's wrong? What's going on? And Tara, at one point, Tara says to her, she's like, it's not all about your friends and what they need. And I was like, fucking A, Tara, hell yes. Like, fucking A. You were 100% right. And Willow's like, whoa. And then Willow gets kind of defensive, and she's like, okay, well, I'm going to go then. And I got to go meet them up and blah, blah, blah. And well, like, Willow's all butthurt now, but I'm thinking, fuck, Willow, I'm sorry, but in this instance, you kind of deserve that. Because it's not all about you and your friends. That Tara's going through something deep here. You're her girlfriend. You should know her better, and you should be like, listen, I don't care about anything else right now. What's going on with you? Like, what can I do to help? But
right. And also, like, why, aside from the fact that Tara's going through her own stuff right now, like, Willow is essentially trying to force her to be around people that Tara knows don't know anything about her. Like,
yep.
where it's well established that Tara feels like an outsider to this group of people. So,
yep, 100%. So Willow fucks off and goes back to the magic shop to be with her friends, who are clearly more important to her than Tara. Tara secretly follows behind. Well, first you see her grab this book in her dorm room there after Willow leaves, apparently looking something up. So then when Willow gets there and the group sits around the table and they're talking about stuff, you see Tara kind of off around the corner of the door, and she's like, oobity boobity skibbity bobbity, and then she well, I don't know what the fuck she said, and then she blows this dust stuff that kind of goes in and weaves its way into there, and then it shoots up all their like noses, and they all go, huh? Anyway, what we were talking about, and they go back to doing stuff, and she's like, yeah, bitches, I just gave all of you syphilis of the nose. Anyway, then we cut to a very weird scene. Maybe it's just me that thinks it's weird. You might have been like, well, it seemed like a normal scene, but I just felt like it was weird and kind of out of place and not necessary. But Riley's in the old, Willie's place. You know, if people recall, it's the demon bar, basically. Mm-hmm. Riley's there. Yeah. He's drinking quite heavily. And this isn't Willie, because apparently they couldn't afford to bring Willie back. So this is somebody else. And as the bartender / owner, whatever. And he's like, I can't believe you're here. Most of these people want to fucking murder you. And Riley's like, whatever. Then this Sandy sits down. This woman named Sandy sits down next to him, and he buys her a drink, and she's thirsty. She's a thirsty bitch. And she's all over him, basically. And she's like, why don't we go somewhere more private? And he's like, well, that'd be fine and all. He's like, but he's like, my heart belongs to another. And besides that, I don't fuck vampires. And she's like, and then that's that scene. And I'm like, maybe it's to fill time. I don't know. It just seemed like if that scene didn't exist in the show, like it didn't change shit. So, I guess it served the purpose of showing that he's kind of, he's emoing about the whole situation with Buffy and whatnot. But we kind of already know that when he left emoing from her house. Like, we could have just assumed in our head, well, he's gone home or he's gone somewhere and he's emoing about it, and we didn't really need this scene to show us that. But whatever, they might have been just to fill time, so that's cool. So then we cut to the crypt, the pimp crypt, we'll call it, and Spike's chilling, sitting in a nasty chair that's probably got fucking herpes on it that he probably got out of the dump somewhere. Harmony gets back from it wasn't Bloomingdale's. What was it? It was like, anyway, some expensive sounding store. And she's got bags and bags full of stuff. And she's like, oh, you would not believe the sales that were going on. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, you paid for all that shit? And she's like, oh, no, I just killed the clerk, but it's still a sale. And he's like, oh, fucking whatever. And she mentions that, how did she mention that? Somehow she lets it slip or mentions that she ran into so-and-so and they told him, oh yeah, there's this group of demons, the Gene Simmons tongue demons. Yeah, they're getting together and then they're all going to go kill the Slayer. And Spike's like, oh, and she's like, yeah, they're going to kill the Slayer. And he's like, so he grabs his shit and he's going to bail. And she's like, where the fuck are you going? And he's like, well, if they're going to kill the Slayer, I want a front row seat. I want to watch. And apparently Harmony doesn't want to watch because she's like, okay. And he just goes by himself. Excuse me. Then we cut to the campus at night, and Tara's sitting on a bench, obviously very unhappy and not knowing what to do and everything. And Beth shows up, cousin Beth, and she's nice at first. And then Tara's like, well, I'm not going back with you guys tomorrow. And she goes from being nice cousin Beth to a raging cunt, like immediately. And she's like, well, you're a selfish bitch. And Tara's like, whoa, what the fuck? And she's just going on about, well, your family have done so much for you, and your dad worries about you so much, and blah 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 blah, and
you've left your father and your brother to take care of themselves, and but yet they're grown fucking men. Like what?
Yeah. You've made your father who created you, you've made him take care of himself. And your brother, who you have absolutely no fucking, whatever you want to call it, like mandate to fucking, but you're making him take care of himself too. What, you selfish bitch? And she just goes on this tirade that's so fucking dumb. And Tara's like, well, okay, but still, fuck you. I'm not coming home. And so then Beth kind of puts it together like that Tara's cast some kind of spell on her friends, because Tara says, no, they won't even know when it happens because they won't see it. And she's like, oh, you did a spell. I'm going to tell your dad. And I'd be like, fucking tell my dad, bitch. I'm a grown ass woman. And I swear I'd just beat this bitch's ass right in the fucking, right in the campus. But, so then Beth fucks off to go tattletale to Tara's dad. And Tara's like, what a hoe. So Tara
calls after. She's like, by the way, you're going to suck as Lois Lane.
Oh, I didn't know that. She played Lois Lane?
Yeah, in the Henry Cavill Superman stuff.
Oh, what the fuck is wrong with me? That's right, she did. Wow. That feels like so long ago now, even though it was not. Anyway.
Well, it was like 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah, true. I still say they fucked up letting Cavill get away, but anyway. Okay, so we cut back to the magic box now. And who is it? Is it Willow? It was Willow. She's there by the door and she hears something and she's like, she's like, Tara? And she opens the door and there's like just this pack of demons standing there. These Gene Simmons tongue demons. But she doesn't seem to see them. They're just standing there. And she's just looking around. She's like, huh, nothing. Okay. Closes the door. And they're all like, huh? And so they let themselves in and they start walking around everybody's walking around. The whole Scoob gang is there. Buffy's in the back kicking ass, beating up the dummy and everything. And, they're all in different places there in the magic box, and all these demons are just walking around and they're all kind of like, what's going on? No one's paying no one's seeing us. And, so boom, one of them attacks Buffy and she yells out and Xander tries to go run and help. He gets to the doorway and something invisible grabs him and something invisible's over here and over there and over here. And everybody's fighting invisible shit. And they're like, what the fuck is going on? And at one point, Spike comes busting in the back door and grabs one of them that's beating up on Buffy. And he's got him like in a chokehold or whatever, but Buffy doesn't seem to see Spike either. And she just runs past him and he's like, you're welcome. And so we're like, as viewers, everybody's, supposed to be saying, what the fuck's going on here? Well, you put two and two together by this time, like most of us have. You know what's going on. But Tara arrives while this melee is going on, and she's like, Buffy, behind you. And Buffy's able to avoid some shit from one behind her. And Buffy's like, where are they, Tara? You can see them? Where are they? And then it hits Tara. Oh, fuck, it's my spell. So she goes, himina, hamina, himini, himini, and tweaks her nipples, and boom, the spell ends. And all of a sudden, they can see all the demons now.
I like how even when they use actual English words for the spell, you still make it gibberish.
because I never remember like what the shit was. I sure as fuck don't spend time to write it down. So I'm just like, even a homina, tweet, 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 and the spell ends. So now they all just start. Now they start kicking the shit out of these demons. Dude, and I'm not. This is not us being funny and me making shit up. She actually curb stomps one of them, and it's
Yep.
and it's brutal, dude. The sound effect is like, oh damn! Like I can't believe they got away with that on TV. But the final one, Buffy gets down, she curb stomps it to finish it off, and Papa, what's Tara's last name?
McClay.
Okay, Papa McClay is there just in time to see them curb stomp this demon. And he's like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, oh, it's a demon. And he's like, oh, okay, just checking. And he just leaves. No harm, no foul. Long story short here, he explains that all the women in their family are demons. And when they turn 20, they become a demon and blah, blah, blah. And fucking Anya's like, oh, what kind of demon? And they're like cousin Beth and him and the son, they're all like, I don't know, a demon. And she's like, yeah, but there's thousands and thousands of different species of demons. So like, let's try to narrow it down. And they all look kind of dumbfounded and stupid. And I think Spike actually catches on first, and he's like, oh, I see what's going on here. So he walks up to fucking Tara and just punches her right in the fucking face. And then he's like, oh, God damn it. His shit hurts. And they're like, then they all realize, and they're like, she's not even a fucking demon. You're a fucking liar. Because he wouldn't have got that jolt through his head, blah, 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 blah. There's no demon in there. And then Spike is like, I forgot another line he said earlier. I forgot to say it, but Spike is like, he's like, oh, I see. This is how you control the women in your family. You tell them they're demons and you keep them at home and you make them take care of you. And he's like, you're a real piece of work. I like you. And, because earlier they had said, or is it coming up? Well, anyway, they had said something about that and everybody's like, well, we're going to stop that. And he's like, not me. I'm not. I don't care what happens. But so anyway, they're like, well, we're taking her and we're getting out of here and we're taking her with us. And that's all there is to it. And Buffy's like, the fuck you is, bitch. She's like, you got to go through me. And then one by one, of course, they all stand up and say, and me, I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. And they're all like, yeah, you're not doing shit. And so Papa Dildo and cousin Cunt Face and pubic hair face brother, they fuck off. And now Tara finally feels maybe a little bit of acceptance, a little bit of that she's part of the fam, because they say she's family, you're not taking her. Right. I'm like, wow. That's how you treat your family. I hate to see how you treat your fucking enemies. Christ. So anyway, then we cut to the next day at the Bronze, and it's Tara's birthday. There's a male stripper up there who's completely naked with a rape heart on. No, he's it's her birthday, and there's a lot of fucking people there. And I guess this is the first time Dawn's ever been to the Bronze, because she's like, wow, it's so cool here. This is neat. And she's like, oh, except I have to wear this stupid stamp on my hand. And they're like, well, that's to make sure you don't booze it up. And she's like, oh, well, that's no worries. Only losers drink alcohol. And they're all taking a sip of some kind of liquor at the time. And so you see Tara opening up a gift, and one of them's a crystal ball. And then you see, which is I thought kind of funny, Dawn gives her a broom. And yeah, so and then Riley shows up, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry I'm late. And Buffy's like, it's okay. And they suck face a little bit. And They seem to mostly bury their feels of whatever's been going on. And then we have this like 30-second scene that closes the show, which is just Tara and Willow slow dancing to a lame 90s song and embracing on the dance floor. And that's it. Credits.
Yep. I don't really have any behind the scenes or anything for this one. No, nothing too nothing spectacular or too interesting. Jeremy,
Yes, sir.
would you like to guess this week's body count?
Oh man. Oh, 2.
3.
Damn.
So you're close. The 3 Leche demons.
Oh yeah, Durr.
Our music this week: Motor Ace with American Shoes, My Vitriol with Cemented Shoes, Yo La Tengo with Tears Are in Your Eyes, Melanie Duan, I Can't Keep My Eyes Off You, and as always, Thomas Dick Wanker with our original score. Jeremy,
Yes, sir.
would you like to tell our audience, on our sliding scale of 1 to 5, how many Leche demons do you give this episode?
Well, there were 3 Leche demons, correct?
Yes.
Bearing that in mind, I'll give this episode a 4. No, yeah, I am going to give it a 4. I thought it was a good episode, and I liked it because it was Terra-centric, and I'm sure this is the first Terra-centric episode we've had. And I feel like, fingers crossed, hopefully this breaks down a bit more of the door and the barrier and brings her more into the group. They all stood up for her. They said, she's family, etc. So hopefully that all continues to be the case.
Right.
And as memory serves, it does. So that's cool. But I've always liked Tara. I've always liked her. I always thought she was a good, a perfect, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the term, but a great replacement, let's call it, for Oz, especially being in Willow's life, as her love interest. And I always liked Tara. And so I liked seeing this episode focusing on her. I thought it was well written. Of course, we always find hilarious shit to nitpick at, but like,
sure.
There wasn't any kind of like glaringly horrific, things. There wasn't any like horrific, just terrible dialogue or shit that didn't make sense. My only complaint, I think, of the whole episode was that weird scene in the demon bar with Riley that I felt like was just totally not needed. But again, I understand that could have been something that was there just to fill time. So I get it. That's not a big deal. It's not like it was a horrible scene. It just seemed kind of strange.
Right.
So yeah, it's a solid 4. I can't give it. It's not a must see episode. It's not a must watch episode. So it's not going to get a 5. But it's a solid 4, and this is now 2 episodes back to back that I felt like were really good, solid, meat and potatoes kind of episodes. I mean, granted, it didn't. The other reason it's not a 5 is because it didn't really move the overall A plot line forward.
Right.
But at least there was some A plot line sprinklings in there, right? So
Right.
it was cool. And yeah, a solid 4 all day. James.
Yes.
Why don't you tell myself and our vast audience Give us your final thoughts on the episode. And on a scale of 1 to 5, Batman's owning Superman, how many of those do you give this episode out of 5?
I give this episode 4 Batman owning Supermans.
Cool.
I mean, my thoughts are exactly like yours. There's again, I mean, we've said this for every episode so far. There's nothing egregiously wrong with this episode. Honestly, nothing wrong with it at all, in my opinion. It's well written, well acted. I mean, that's typical. And I really like the fact that we finally got a Terra-centric episode, learn, more of her backstory. I don't know what their original intention was back in season 4 when they had her, mess up the demon locating spell. I don't know if this was the ultimate, goal for that, the payoff, or if it was just something they threw in there and were like, well, we'll address it later, or if maybe they had a different plan and then that didn't pan out or whatever. But I like that it does call back to that, and we get an answer to why she did that in the first place.
Yeah.
Even a season later. But yeah, I mean, the crux of it is that I really like the fact that it was a Terra-centric episode. Because I'm like you, I've liked Terra since she was introduced. I was bummed that Oz left, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've liked Terra since the beginning, and I've felt, like you said, that she was, or like you kind of said that she's been underutilized.
Yeah.
To this point, it seemed like, in the, like with Oz, they integrated him into the group and made him a part of things and everything that was going on, fairly quickly. Mm-hmm. Not even fairly quickly, like immediately. And with Terra, she's spent a season plus now kind of on the outskirts of what's happening. And hopefully, like you said, with this episode, that kind of resolves that, and she becomes a more active member of the gang, as opposed to just Willow's girlfriend who happens to be around sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a 4.
All right. Good deal. Why don't you tell me something, James? I need to know.
The gestation period of an elephant is 9 weeks.
No, I don't care about that. Tell me about BuffyRevisited.com.
If you go there, you can see my butthole.
Okay. I will never go there again.
No, if you go to BuffyRevisited.com, you're going to get a link to our email, BuffyRevisited@gmail.com, to our Facebook, to our YouTube. Hop over on the Facebook, leave us comments. There's always a post about what episode we're revisiting this week. Leave your comments there about the episode, about the series, about anything you want, really. Click on that YouTube link, and you're going to be able to watch the video version of the podcast, where you can also leave comments about the episode or the show or anything you want, really. And maybe there might be a merchandise link. I don't know. It could be.
Might be. Who the fuck knows? If there is,
we don't know.
Awesome. If not,
if there is, yeah,
whatever.
If there is, click it. Scroll the merch store, see if there's anything you want. If there isn't, keep checking, because maybe there will be again one day. Who knows?
And if there still isn't, go fuck yourself. How about
that? So yeah. So reach out to us, email us, comment at us, whatever.
Yep, whatever. You won't find us on Twitter, though. So, anyway, thanks for joining us this week, everybody. Next week, we're going to be jumping into season 5, episode 7, Fool for Love.
Yep.
Fool for Love. Werewolves again. So, you know.
Is it?
Let's just pretend it is. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. With that being said, I've been one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
I'm your other host, James.
Ta-ta.